Welcome to VSB News Online for Tuesday, July 21st. I'm Peter Cattell. Government House has lost no time in putting to bed the suggestion that the Governor has been protecting the UK's interests by not allowing competition against British Airways. The suggestion came from the opposition Shadow Transport Minister Lawrence Scott in the House on Friday. But Government House has replied that it has not been approached by any airline carriers wishing to fly to Bermuda from London or any other European destination, and was not aware of any proposals in this area. If such an approach were received, says the spokesman, it would be given proper consideration, and that in the first instance it would be a matter for the Bermuda government's licensing authority. Attendees at the now sold-out lecture at the Bermuda College on Thursday are in for an enlightening treat. Bermudian Dr. Theodore Francis II, Assistant Professor of History in the Department of Humanities and Fine Arts at Huston-Tillotson University in Austin, Texas, will regale his audience with information on black tourism in the 19th century. In this first of a two-part interview, he tells Charles Webb of the role blacks played in the industry.
Blacks are early and an eager participant in tourism, from the origins of the business all the way through to the 20th century. When you think about some of your, what can we call auxiliary services, which are fulfilled by the tourist industry, not necessarily the ownership of hotels in the 19th century, but your buggy drivers, your guides, the people who are offering what was known as bumboatsman services to take some of these tourists from places like modern-day Princess Hotel and the Hamilton Hotel, which are located here across out to White's Island, and even what was known as viewing the sea gardens. When you look at the early documentation of that in the 1850s, 1860s, right up into the 1890s, you see a lot of record of blacks. They would always talk about the Bermuda Negroes or the colored Bermudians who would be the ones sailing them out to these various places to look at these sea gardens. So when you think about the modern day itinerary of Bermuda sightseeing, that's actually charted out by black Bermudian labor.
So is it fair to say that these blacks were in an educational and entertaining position rather than subservient?
Oh, most definitely. I think it's all those elements rolled into one, and the only difficulty of history sometimes is the way in which it is framed. Sometimes the black Bermudian image in history, as far as tourism is concerned, is only framed from a positionality of entertainment. In other words, you know, the Talbot brothers, the kind of friendly Johnny Barnes figures and so forth. And yes, those are legitimate parts of the tourism enterprise, but that's not the only parts of the tourism enterprise. So quite definitely, your claim is very much sustained by the historical record that yes, blacks working in these realms are definitely educating tourists. One very important part is you can think about science tourism. And by science tourism, I'm thinking about the Bermuda Biological Station. And what you find is with a lot of the research being done by New York University and some of these other Ivy League universities, when they come to the island, the individuals they use to find the scientific specimens, whether it is flora or fauna, whether it is fish or land life, is oftentimes found by black Bermudians. And all through the notes of these scientists from these Ivy League universities, they always credit black Bermudians for finding these specimens for them.
Tomorrow, Dr. Francis touches on how current-day blacks are contributing to materials sourced by overseas agencies. And we'll be back right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the breakfast bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Members of Parliament who sat through the marathon final sitting on Friday are still talking about the exchange that took place on the motion to adjourn between Premier Michael Dunkley and Shadow Tourism Minister Zane De Silva. We share it with you now.
Mr. Speaker, I find it absolutely amazing that the honourable member who just took his seat has a startling propensity to continue to complain about things. And it was very interesting, the concerns about the visitor stand at Cup Match, and certainly when I heard about that, I contacted the Honourable Minister to take a look into it, because it's It has been over the years something that I think has been very beneficial for Bermuda, and I have to applaud both clubs, St. George's and Somerset, for making it happen. But then the honourable member, after he had just finished asking questions about people working at dockyard and how many black contractors are working at dockyard, proceeded to be derogatory to a young black Bermudian woman, an entrepreneur. I find that...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, I remember.
No, that is definitely misleading the House. The Honourable Premier weren't listening. In fact, I congratulated her that she was getting the amount of work she was.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
I did not give her any derogatory remarks.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, that's a stretch at the best of times. But, Mr. Speaker, that comes from an honourable member over there who has remarked to members on this side that he's gotten more work under this government than he got under the former government. I find that absolutely amazing. And he says that's true. So, you know, he who speaks loud should be careful who he speaks to, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, carry. Yes, honourable member.
It's certainly misleading the House, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Because you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, I'm not as black as you might think, but I am black.
Carry on, Premier. Please carry on. All right, members, I want to hear the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, that just goes to prove that there's been a lot of hallucinating going on in this House today.
Hotel developers could be regaining their confidence in the smaller boutique-type hotels and guest houses if the tenor of two recent hotel summits in Miami, the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers, and the African American Hotel Ownership and Investment Summit, is any guide.
The Bermuda Tourism Authority's Chief Investment Officer, Andy Burrows, was a leading voice at the summits, speaking on several panels regarding the hotel development and tourism infrastructure investment in the region. Tourism industry voices from Latin America and the Caribbean were also present for the dialogue. There was a significant progress in Bermuda to speak of at this year's conference, Mr. Burrows said, talking about the advances we've seen at the former Club Med site, at Morgan's Point, with Edge Hill Manor, and even at Horseshoe Bay. All are very important messages to deliver. The international investment community remains interested in Bermuda and wants to know what's going on. I also listened, said Mr. Burrows, closely to what the investors are telling us. While medium and large properties are important, there is an emergent trend towards investment in small guest properties in the region. This is an effort of hotel brands and investors to capture the new experiential and cultural traveler. It's a conversation I will continue on and off the island to determine what ways our tourism economy can benefit from this trend.
5 charity volunteers who have contributed at least 200 years of combined service to the Bermuda Society for the Blind have been honored with certificates of appreciation. They include Jean Howes and Aboui Rasoul, who were founding members of the Beacon Club, a forerunner of the Society, and who have both been on the charity's board of directors. Board President Amanda Marshall said that both were examples of how to live a full life regardless of vision loss. Also receiving these certificates were Albert Thompson, Marty Davis, and William Ridley, all staunch supporters of the Society. An estimated 500,000 visitors will be heading for Portsmouth on the UK's south coast this weekend for the inaugural regatta of the 35th America's Cup Series. They will find a full agenda of activities, highlighted by a parade of sail on Friday and 2 days of racing over the weekend. The racing is being covered by BT Sport and the BBC, who have already put out this interesting feature on the British team that is hosting the affair for the first time.
Brand new headquarters for America Cup Challenge by Britain. It's the oldest international sporting trophy in the world. And guess what? Britain has never won it. Well, now Sir Ben Ainslie, using this vessel, is hoping to change all that.
The Solent has never seen anything like it. The flying boat of Ben Ainslie. Soaring and skimming, this is a life on top of the ocean wave. And the first time in 164 years, America's Cup has come to British waters. This phenomenal vessel rides high on carbon fibre foils. Just listen to the sound of speed. It's skippered by Ben Ainslie, Britain's Olympic gold medalist, who last time helped the Americans win. But not anymore.
These AC-45s can travel at around 50 knots out here on the open sea, even though they weigh more than a ton. No wonder they're called the Formula One of ocean racing. The idea is to be up out of the water, foiling along to minimise the drag, which is why they're more like a plane than a boat. Can Britain win the America's Cup?
Yeah, Britain can win the America's Cup. We need to win it. We've never won it in 164 years. It's going to be an incredibly tough challenge, but believe me, we would not be doing this if we didn't think we could win it.
Endeavour crosses the line with the American yacht slightly ahead.
He's right. Not since it began on the Solent in 1851 has Britain won it.
The crew are on their toes all the time, working with a will that makes for success.
But now, with this brand new headquarters in the heart of Portsmouth Harbour and his brand new team around him, Sir Ben believes he can slice through all competition and bring the oldest international trophy in world sport back home.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
The Bermuda Men's Davis Cup team went down in their opening Group B match in Panama against Jamaica 2-1. Gavin Manders, playing in the number 2 position, was the first on the court, and he took on Roland Phillips, going down in straight sets 7-6, 6-1. David Thomas, playing in the number 1 spot, was next on the court, and after 1 hour and 2 minutes, he won the opening set against Damian Johnson 7-6. It was 8-6 in the tiebreaker. The second set took a little over 30 minutes as Thomas went down 6-1. Thomas, however, took full control of the third and final set, taking a 5-love lead before Johnson retired injured, thus making the score 1-1. The match will be decided by doubles play of the Bermuda pair, Neil Tolson and Jensen Bascom. They took on Brendan Burke and Phillips. In a match that took 1 hour and 17 minutes, the Bermuda pair were defeated in straight sets 6-2, 7-5. The Bermuda Junior National Squash team on the third day of the 53rd Junior Cast Championships in Barbados included individual plays. In the boys under 15 playoff 5th through 8th place semifinal, Taylor Carrick needed 4 games to get past his opponent, Anthony Islam from Guyana, 13-11, 7-11, 11-9, 11-8. Carrick went down in his next match in a 5-game battle to finish 6th. Carrick fell to Adam Ardito from Jamaica, 7-11, 8-11, 12-10, 11-3, 11-7. Charlotte Toogood finished the girls under 15 division in 5th place after defeating Maya Lake from Jamaica, 11-5, 11-8, 11-9. Dylan Pratt finished 8th in the boys under 17 division after going down in a 5-game battle to Nicholas Cattle from Trinidad, 11-8, 6-11, 8-11, 11-5, 11-7. Ty Williams won the girls under 19 consolation final, winning a 5-setter over Mishka Cliver from British Virgin Islands. She finished 9th overall. Susanna Armano went down in her girls under 19 playoff match in 3 games, 11-4, 11-2, 11-6, while Abigail Brewer finished 3rd in the under 13 girls division when she defeated Giovanni Miller Alexander in a 5-game battle, 10-12, 11-4, 11-8, 11-13, 11-8. Unseeded Charlie Riker finished as the under 13 boys runner-up, going down in the final to Shamari Wiltshire from Guyana, 11-4, 11-2, 11-3. The Eastern County Cup first round, as well as Bermuda Cricket Board Premier and First Division matches, took center stage this past weekend, and we now take a look at the top performance of the weekend. In the batting department, Dion Stubble from Southampton Rangers had the top knock, scoring 73 runs against St. David's Cricket Club in a Premier Division match, while Dexter Baisden from Willicott scored 69 runs in his team's win over Cleveland County. Chris Douglas scored 50 runs for Devonshire Recreation Club, but they were defeated in their First Division top-of-the-table clash by Western Stars. With figures of 18.3 overs, 5 maidens, 6 wickets for 41 runs, Kyle Hudso from Bailey's Bay returned the best bowling figures of the weekend in his team's Eastern County battle with Cleveland County. Jamie Smith from Devonshire Recreation Club was the weekend's second top bowler, returning figures of 10 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 24. And with figures of 9 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 25, Treadwell Gibbon from Cleveland County had the third best bowling figures of the weekend. The Bermuda Inline Ball Hockey League season continued at the PCC Hockey Rink last evening with a doubleheader schedule. However, rain prevented the second game from finishing. In the opener, the league-leading Pembroke Pirates were defeated by the Paget Pistols in an all-out 22-goal brawl, 13-9. Chris Gantier led the charge for the Paget Pistols, finding the back of the net 5 times. Joe Neal struck 4 times, while Shannon Goose scored twice. The Paget Pistols also got single goals from Andrew Marcus and Robert Rigo. Matthew Desjardins scored a hat-trick for the Pembroke Pirates, while Ryan Wilson and Troy Dort scored 2 goals each, with Adam Smith and Jacob Amlong scoring a goal each. The nightcap between the St. George's Generals and the Somerset Snappers was stopped with 14:24 remaining in the second period, with the score locked at 1-1. Matthew Benson had given the Somerset Snappers the lead in the first period as they held on to that lead until the break. Minutes into the second period, Owen Cease would equalize for the St. George's Generals before rain would end the night. After the third and final round of the Optimus International Junior Golf Championships at the PGA National Resort and Spa in Florida, Kenny Lejour finished tied 37th at 34 over par. Lejour, playing in the boys 10 to 11 age group division, shot a final round 10 over par 82. He shot 10 pars, 6 bogeys, and 2 double bogeys. 4 of Bermuda's finest youth basketball players, Mikhail Glasgow, Rai Aronson, Andy Perez, and Jeremiah Andrade, played in front of some 350 online viewers, including coaches and scouts from around the world. The players are taking part in the Keystone Basketball State Camp in Pennsylvania, which, by all accounts, has been a successful campaign for the Bermuda players thus far. The game started with Perez of Cedar Bridge Academy and Glasgow from the Barclay Institute coming out shooting. Perez threw the ball just minutes into the contest and shortly after drove to the basket, finishing a layup in traffic. On another drive, he was fouled going to the free throw line. Perez finished the contest with 8 points and played staggering defense the whole contest. Glasgow, a 6'3" combo guard and co-captain of the 18 and under team, played multiple positions in the match, showing his versatility. Glasgow scored 2 3-pointers from distance and also grabbed 11 rebounds. Andrade of Work Academy, the other co-captain of the team, played a solid game, throwing assists to his teammates and also scoring a 3-pointer. The player of the game, however, went to Aronson, the 13-year-old from Work Academy, who recently made history as the youngest player to make the senior men's national team. Aronson, a speedy guard, scored 13 in the contest and was interviewed after by Passport Live. The 2015 Coral Beach and Tennis Club Championships continued at the club facility. In men's singles action, Tanner Boyle defeated William Way in straight sets 6-3, 7-6. Andy Bray defeated Ross Hillen in straight sets 6-love, 6-love. And Cortland Boyle got the better of Charlie Boyle 6-2, 6-love. In the lone women's doubles match, Eleanor Boyle and Tatum Boyle defeated Stephanie Hawker and Victoria Stevens 7-5, 6-4. Despite nursing a long-standing shoulder injury, Duncan Scott finished 55th in the men's 50 to 54 age group, competing in the tough Escape of Alcatraz triathlon. Duncan competed the swim in 40:57. He then had the first transition, which included a half-mile run, which took 10:07. His bike time was 1:05:33, and his second transition was 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Scott then had a run time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 38 seconds to finish overall with a time of 3 hours, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. I'm Earl Basden reporting from Toronto, Canada at the Pan American Games for VSB Sports.
Now for the weather for Wednesday, July 22nd. It will be partly cloudy. Winds will be southwesterly, moderate to strong. The high will be near 88 Fahrenheit, the low near 79 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, July 21st. I'm Peter Cattell.